Hey guys, been a little while since we did a channel update video. Wanted to do one today to discuss some stuff moving forward in the next couple of months and a couple things that I have going on. So let's dive into it. First thing, and this is a big part of why I wanted to do this video today, is because I picked up a new camcorder and basically want to try it out, see how it goes. About the last year or so, I have been using this little guy here, little Sony action camera. For the most part, it's kind of worked, and some stuff's been good with it. Like the overall image quality it's produced. The two big things issues I've had with this are, number one, obviously lack of any type of preview screen. To get around this, I've been using OBS on my desktop and running HDMI cable to my capture card, and basically using my computer monitor as the preview screen, which is okay. It's a bit of a pain, but it works. But the other major issue, and this is actually a two-part issue, is the battery. Battery on it, I'm lucky if I get maybe an hour at most of total battery life out of one of the batteries, for it's quite dead. Which for review videos is fine, because usually those are between 10 and 20 minutes, give or on average, somewhere in there. However, for longer stuff, like IPMS, which I was doing IPMS video from last year, or flying videos, this becomes a problem, which now leads into issue number two. To get around it, obviously plugging in a external battery, and when you do that, the camera does get very hot very quickly, especially if you're in recording mode. If for flight videos, this isn't a real issue. Well, it's an issue, but it's not as big an issue as, at least in the 172, the vents are positioned such that I can have both of them blowing on it to help try to keep it cool. But honestly, with only about an hour, depending on how long the flight is, you're not going to be able to capture the whole thing on it. I would still actually recommend it over the GoPro, simply because you're recording at a much higher bit rate, 100 bits versus, I believe, the latest one does only about 60, if that. So you get more information per second than you do on the GoPro, which means more detail, more lifelike, better overall picture quality. But as I said, with the battery issues, that's a big problem. Oh, another thing I do like about that little camera is that it does have optical stabilization versus the digital stabilization that you see, which basically involves cropping down the image so that it gives the impression of it not bouncing around. And a optical stabilization will always be superior to digital. So that's my little thing on that. And like I said, trying out new camcorder, I was able to pick up fairly cheaply, at least compared to full price. But that's a story for another day. So I want to obviously try out the new camera, see how it goes. Partially, I also want to make sure, once I do finish recording, there aren't any issues, since I do use an older version of Premiere, because I don't want to buy into the subscription model that Adobe chose to go to. In fact, I have the last year version of Adobe Suite before they went over to this. Managed to grab that before they did, for precisely this reason, that I'm not a fan of the subscription type business model for software and whatnot. I'd rather just buy it once, and then when it's no longer supported or what have you, or I need newer features, yeah, then I will go and upgrade. Excuse me. So that's sort of where we are with that. Now, moving on. Right now, if you may or may not notice, I haven't been streaming as frequently. Part of that, in all honesty, has been on me. Been a little lazy there. Some of it's been work scheduling, just getting stuff to line up. And third is because I've been working trying to get the Spitfire done for IPNF San Diego coming up. Today is the May 13th, 2019, and that's coming up on the 1st of June. So I've been trying to get that done. Last few days made pretty decent progress on it. Just about finished with the cockpit. And I'm hoping to at least get the body and all that done. If I get the base done or not, oh well, I'd prefer to get it done just to have that little extra bit, even though it doesn't get judged under IPMS rules. But more than anything, it's just trying to get that done. So just want to check one. Okay, so 100%. Yeah, just checking battery levels. Wasn't sure if it fully charged or not. One of those new camera things. Anyway, as I was saying, so I've been focusing on trying to get that done. Obviously, since it's for competition, taking new time. It's been more of a focus, and just, like I said, trying to get that done. So obviously, after June 1st, things sort of will get a little less hectic on that front. At the same time, also, the other issue is my work schedule. In fact, the next few weeks are probably going to be really just hectic. In fact, got an email from my company's district manager saying, next 2-3 weeks are going to be hell. Make sure if you got to call out a job to do it as soon as you humanly can, so that we can make arrangements. So just between that and IPNS, next few weeks are probably going to be sparse as far as any type of streaming and whatnot, as well as uploads of streams, because I basically tapped that out. So that's where we are with that. Next, once this current batch of full build, once we get done with the current series of full builds with the Stearman, which at the moment I'm looking at thinking at the current rate it's coming out in the year time frame shortly thereafter. My intention is for that series to go on a little bit of a hiatus, partially so that I can get the next series done, and partially also because it does eat up a lot of time. And at the moment I have 3 full complete projects done, including the Stearman fully recorded, done, and at least at the current release schedule, that will take us a while to do. So that hiatus is in part going to allow me to plan out and play with release schedule timing with that. So that way, when it does come back, may even go down to a bi-weekly or every 3rd week, something like that. I don't know. And obviously, depending on what type of schedule I do choose to go with, will dictate where we go from there. Right now, I'm thinking once I finish the Stearman full build, partially for, as I said, for IPNFs, coming up on the 1st, I'm going to basically not do another full build for a little while. Partially, like I said, so that I can get through, edit up all these different series that I've got in the can and get those produced. As at the moment, if I continue this monthly release schedule, I probably have a couple of years worth of material saved, if possibly 3 or 4 years. even longer than that possibly. So I want to, once Stearman full build series is out, we'll take a step back for a while on those and figure out, how we want to move forward. They're not going to go away completely, but I may be changing the release schedule following a couple month hiatus. Now, on to another front. Obviously, flight training's been kind of sparse. To say that is probably a bit of an understatement. Between work scheduling and availability scheduling, it's become a nightmare. I'm hopeful that the weather cooperates to get going again soon. Right now, I'm hoping to have all that done end of summer if I can get it, all the flights in. I also may end up changing from 141 to Part 61. Is talking to my instructor, who was noticing, looking at my logbook, I'm almost at the Part 61 hour requirements. After we get through the course syllabus, it might make more sense to go that way. So it's one thing I got to get some more research on, and we'll talk, actually schedule a meet with one of the senior instructors for a stage check this week. I'll obviously talk with them during that to try and figure out, okay, which is going to be the smarter way to go for me. Now, at the moment, I may be actually, excuse me 1 second, mail and showing up and expecting a package, so be right back in a second. Sorry about that. You know how it is. As soon as you sit down to try and do something, what you're expecting for shows up. Anyway, as I was saying, with my flight training, I've been for a while expecting, once I get all necessary ratings, to end up working at the school that I'm currently attending. Part because they've got a good partnership with a regional I'm looking forward to hopefully do, and all of that. Well, and some more actually should add this on, is that my plan has been to, once I get to the regional level, to finally move out of my mother's house. Well, about a month or so ago, about 2-3 weeks ago, to be honest, started speaking with my mother. And much like me, she's kind of done with California. Tired of the taxes, tired of all of it. She's just done. And much like I've been, she's thinking maybe, because she's originally from there, to move back to Florida. So this has in some ways thrown my entire sort of planning now into a loop. I honestly do not know what's going to happen moving forward. Obviously, if we do end up moving, it's going to be sooner than I had planned, which is going to throw everything into a bit of a sort of what's the word? Limbo for the foreseeable future. Partially because I'm obviously not going to unpack everything I own again, because even that point, my intention will be to, once I get to a regional carrier, to finally get a place of my own. As that's sort of been planned. The only reason I've waited this long is to, save money, so that once I do have a lot of money rolling in, well, actually, bigger reason is so I can pay for flight training without going broke. But also so that when it does come time, I would be able to basically replace the money I've spent on flight training and build up a nice, nest egg to use to purchase a house with. That's sort of been my plan, and once there, I could have, free reign to set proper build studio, so I could show it off to you people, anyone that's watching, so that I can do painting and building in the same space and all that. So at this point, I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, if I'm able to get with the regional carrier, they do have schools they partner with in Florida, so that may play with how I do things moving forward. At the moment, I really honestly do not know what's going to happen in that front. Granted, it's probably will not happen until end of the year, possibly sometime thereafter, so we do have time at least to, figure some stuff out, and obviously something like this, it will take a while to get done, or it might not happen. I honestly don't know. Or hell, my mother may move back east and I remain here. And since this house is paid off, it basically become mine, and I just care and maintain it. And then once, I get ready to move back east as well, we rent it out or something. I don't know. There's just way too much up in the air. So in some ways, it's probably a good thing I got review videos done through next March done. And I'll probably also, hopefully later this year, get some more done so that we have a nice big buffer, so that if we do a move, I'm not going to be able to do review videos because all my stuff is probably going to, for the most part, stay packed up until I really need it. So that's going to throw everything out of whack. So that is something to be aware of moving forward. That if I drop off the face of the earth for a few months, that's basically going to be why. Because I'm doing a major move and things are not really going to be in a position where I can do things. Now, obviously, I will still try to, keep posting new content and what have you, but, it's going to be significantly scaled back. And about the only thing I think I can probably easily do are going to be the game stream, since that's, I basically just set up the desktop, and so long as I've got an internet connection, that's something I can do. So we'll see what happens moving forward. That is something, it's far enough out that I'm not going to super worry about it at this moment, but it is something we do have to keep in our periphery. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, something major develops in there, like I get a definitive yee, nay, or what have you, I can always put up another vlog. So we'll see what happens there. Now, one last thing before I go. This is something I wanted to do for a while, and fortunately it was sort of had my hand forced because of changing policies. I finally set up a Patreon. Right now it's totally blank. It's, it's a shell. It's mainly there just because, they were changing policy, changing how much they were doing as far as rates and whatnot, setting up a multi-tier system. So if you got in before the cutoff date, which was a few days ago, you'd be grandfathered in at the old way. So I basically set it up. For now, it's blank. Once I really have some time to sit down, plan it out, think it over, think of different tiers for charging, all that, rewards, goals, what have you, all that. Then I'll honestly, do a full presentation. You'll probably see a video go up sort of explaining my goals and what have you. In part because they do have a section for that, and then just, one of those things I'd rather do, so that I'll explain, what I'd be doing with the money, how it's going to be used, etc., etc., etc. Basically a whole bunch of, explanation and a little bit of CYA. So yeah, that's sort of it for today. Like I said, I wanted to try playing with new camera. Wanted to explain some stuff to you guys of what could be happening over the next few months, why I haven't been doing as many streams lately, and so forth. So hopefully nothing major will happen, at least for a while. And I do plan to, once we get out of this sort of hell week, couple of weeks, start streaming again so that we can start getting content put out there. I do have a tutorial thing that I've sort of backburnered for the moment, just because it's one of those things that ended up getting pushed to the periphery and just one of those things. So, yeah, for now, obviously once I get done with the Ironman project, we can restart some other stuff, and we'll go from there. So, until next time.